What is up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. I hope you enjoyed last night's video about ACI Worldwide, one of the largest technology providers in the world and also a well-known RippleNet partner, as we know per their website. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Flare Networks today as well. And then also in the next video, we're going to be talking about XLM. So we know ACI Worldwide, per the website, aciworldwide.com, you can see $14 trillion per day. And of course, this does include securities as well. And per the video, if you did watch it, the gentleman said that we send so much money as fast as you can consistently or consecutively snap your finger. We are sending about $5 million every single time you snap your finger. Now that is absolutely astounding, and this is just one provider. Now again, we can see they do have 6,000 organizations around the world, and some of the largest financial institutions and intermediaries, well over 1,000 of them. So very exciting. I encourage you guys to look into them. Of course, they are one of the participants on the clearinghouse.org for the United States' domestic clearing. And then I also did tweet a very, very good quote per Craig Ramsey, head of ACI, talking about the implications of not only domestic payment schemes, but what it means for the cross-border payments market. And this is making me think of XRP because he specifically talks about remittance. So huge opportunities. I get if not everyone's going to watch, super long videos, but for me, when the upside is potentially millions of dollars in life-changing wealth, I'm going to do whatever it takes. All right. So as we know, ACI Worldwide to work on the FedNow pilot, we do know that there's a whole bunch of other players involved in this, just as the 110 organizations will now participate in the FedNow pilot program. Now, per a few videos ago, I did want to share that one clip of Brian Brooks saying that the UK already has a faster payments or like a real-time gross settlement system and a faster payment system. Japan was one of the first that really tried to get, real-time payments to become a thing 50 years ago. And overall, the United States is behind. So they're going to really have to step up. And the question is, do governments innovate or do they adopt? And they pick some of the best platforms out there, the fintech players that are a lot more versatile and adaptable. So of course, I'm aware of USDC. I'm aware of the Digital Dollar Project. I'm aware of a variety of other stablecoins as well. But if you are familiar with this ecosystem and you have done several years of research, you're well aware that those are not solving all of the issues that XRP can do in terms of a cross-border market, all right? So just want to make that clear. I know people are like, oh, they're talking about USDC and all of this. Not always, because again, there's going to be trade-offs for each and every asset, all right? Right here, Visa is part of the Global Crypto Council. As we know, the Future Crypto Council. Brad Garlinghouse is there, Danelle Dixon of Stellar, Catherine Coley, no surprise, of course. We see head of crypto is a Visa gentleman. No surprise, just wanted to point that out because this is actually commenting on XRP Crypto Wolf's post, of course. Visa CEO says crypto is an emerging payments innovation that has potential to be used for global commerce. No surprise, we've talked about the CAGR year-over-year growth for e-commerce and the trends, and here's a quote from them. It goes without saying, to the extent specific digital currency becomes a means of exchange, there's no reason why we cannot add it to our network. Fiat is here to stay, as I always say, whether it's digital or just fiat, CBDCs does not matter, but there will be new protocols, there will be new networks that interoperate with this ecosystem, and it is my bet that XRP is one of them specifically to provide liquidity. All right, liquidity begets liquidity. So back to my original point with Flare Networks, this website is flare, FLARE.xyz. Now, what I want to make known is this, and this is a quote that we've shared for quite some time, even when, Flare was really coming out. I know I went, over this probably spring or early summer last year as well. 75% of the value of blockchain tokens is inaccessible to decentralized applications, hence the rise of DeFi that we've seen. That changes now, starting with XRP. So please understand, Flare is a good thing for the XRP ecosystem, the value of XRP, the utility for the XRP ledger. Please understand that. Again, it essentially brings DeFi and smart contract capability to XRP without the trade-offs. Ethereum does it well, but of course there's trade-offs and there's things that people are not happy about with Ethereum. Hence, there's different assets that are trying to do what Ethereum does, but better at, a better cost, more efficient, a better consensus mechanism, such as, ADA, Polkadot, a whole slew of projects. So for that matter, 75% of the value of blockchain tokens alone, well, guys, the global crypto market cap did surpass and at least, tipped or peaked through $1 trillion. 75% of that is $750 billion. And that is not even considering once you can bridge essentially other ecosystems, such as we talked about Avalanche, which is part of Flare Networks, the consensus mechanism of, Avalanche. they can bridge to the traditional infrastructure as well. So just imagine what happens when we're creating bi-directional paths and flows of value. Just as Avalanche says in their video at Ava Labs, the internet of assets. And of course, that all flows on the internet of value. So very exciting. Next, wanted to share an old quote from 2018 in Singapore of Brad Garlinghouse. This is Status. You can find and read about it on his website at status.hr. There's more volatility, meaning price fluctuations and risk. And of course, the volatility, sometimes the sender may make more money or lose more money when they, send the money to the other side. So the receiver could, end up with more money or less money. And we want reduced volatility, meaning less price swings, because essentially you just want to get what it's worth and essentially as close to possible. All right. So there's more volatility risk using the SWIFT network today, guys, the correspondent banking partners, over 180 seconds rather than just using XRP over 3 seconds. So mathematically, that whole statement about, XRP being more volatile is actually false. And the more liquid it becomes, the less volatile it becomes. And of course, the higher price, the better, and the more liquid the asset becomes. It's this whole flywheel effect. And that's why I call XRP a black hole, because once it starts getting said value and actual utility driven volume, it's game over, in my opinion. All right. Next, Bank of Singapore says crypto could replace gold as a store of value, says XRP Crypto Wolf, and this is on CoinDesk, a subsidiary of Digital Currency Group, an early investor in the company Ripple. Now, Singapore, just like this person says right here, I agree. Singapore, a very, very wealthy country, forward-thinking, very pragmatic people, and I absolutely agree. Governments there are very wary of any overall, I was paraphrasing. Governments are very wary of any technology that could potentially displace national currencies. This would reduce the ability of policymakers to print money during economic crises. Very interesting, and this is absolutely true. So keep in mind, guys, if you did watch the previous video, I literally linked everything. I talked about the SAMA, Saudi Arabia's central bank, and the connections to Ripple in 2018. We've shown the video clips in the past of the gentleman, Mr. Sarbai of Ripple, showing and literally on stage saying, yes, we tested our environment in a sandbox environment, or we were going to, with SAMA, with a dozen plus banks. I think it may have been 13 or 15. And I can look it up after this. But they literally said you're good to go, like you're fully compliant. They weren't really used to that. And again, same thing with the Monetary Authority of Singapore. These countries understand the need for real-time payment schemes now. They do not like being under the foothold of Belgium-based SWIFT and the correspondent banking network that the United States dominates. Period. All right. We talked about it. JP Morgan, it's threatening a lot of these big players. And just like we saw today, or this week as a whole, it's just been absolutely crazy for 2021, is Robinhood, the application. So hopefully this video still gets views because I'm talking about them. But with the GameStop stock, that's a tongue twister. Overall, they're selling their shares automatically for customers on their app for their own good. And you could read the terms of service. I did see Crypto Whales shared everything. Very, very interesting. I've never once used Robinhood. I, had an account. I still get emails from them. But if like trading stocks before I met my love, XRP, it was, Ameritrade, E-Trade, Fidelity, like kind of just the basic platforms. Once I met crypto, though, it was goodbye to that for at least the trading aspect. Right. So nonetheless, very exciting, guys. And all of this, now hedge funds are getting robbed and there was, billions of dollars lost. They don't want the little guy, you and I, the retail investor, to make money. So they cut it off. There's 404 errors on the pages and these platforms. It is as corrupt as it can get, guys. You cannot make this up. Reality is stranger than fiction, and this is happening. And this is even a further push for distributed systems more than ever before, so that there's actually accountability and trust and transparency, so that they all have a true copy and they can validate what is the truth. And whenever something changes, within a matter of seconds, it is confirmed and trusted. There's no more fraud. And in my opinion, distributed ledger tech is coming. It will change the game forever, but it could be a rocky process to get there because the people up top obviously have been taking advantage of the system for so long the way it is. The rich take advantage of the poor time and time again. All right. Let's see, there's been so many more funds and ETFs and ETPs in the crypto space, of course, because of, billion-dollar valuations of companies like MicroStrategy. We even saw that Pantera Capital, the crypto fund manager, has over $1 billion in assets. They're currently working on launching a new fund in the next few months aimed at heavyweight institutional investors. We'll actually talk in the next video a little bit about Grayscale getting into DeFi. the hot word since really, I'd say since May. So it's expanding. It is happening with or without us, guys. And I want to be properly positioned in this market. Again, I do diversify. I own a lot of assets besides XRP, but I still believe XRP will play a key role in the future of this ecosystem. Right here, just to speed through this, Miami, guys, as we know, it's a fintech capital based out of Florida for those that are not familiar in other countries. And just like many other countries are attracting more people like Texas and the United States, Miami is, again, going to be just a hotbed for fintech, just like Singapore is a hotbed for fintech, is one of the big countries for fintech. Well, now we have Francis Suarez, the crypto-friendly mayor of Miami, has hired a CTO for the city. I'm curious if other countries will be following suit. Nonetheless, very, very exciting. All right. Also, this is on opencollective.com, guys. So you did see that Ripple-backed Coil, the initiative for web monetization and streaming of payments, is actually joining Google Chrome developers, Microsoft Edge developers, the W3C, the World Wide Web Consortium. And keep in mind, Ripple did gift Interledger Protocol to them back in the day, and many other developers, Samsung, Mozilla, all of these guys, to essentially work on having a high-quality, up-to-date documentation to build incredible things for the web. Again, one of the coolest things that was talked about in that 30-minute video of ACI last night was talking about essentially open payments, inclusion. You can't have that without DLT. And then the gentleman even said, yeah, Swift GPI is good, and we're doing about 20% of Swift volume overall. And that's messaging. That's not a threat to XRP, people, so relax. But he goes on to say, it's essentially like, and he goes on to say in quotes, it's like a defense mechanism against blockchain. And blockchain is truly the, big disrupting technology that's going to change the game. So I love hearing from people that are in the know, that are actually into industry, and is also head of the largest technology provider in the world, essentially, talking about real-time payments. Now, it's not just cross-border, it's not just domestic. They talk about the trends of, debit card usage going down, of course, checks going down. And of course, with the pandemic, things have even expedited or really been going and snowballing faster than before. But the opportunity is there. Please do not be that person that sees Dogecoin going up 300% and then thinking, and you believe in current price, and you forget all these fundamentals, you throw them out the window, and you think XRP is a bad coin because it stayed in this price window for a while. You can do that. Be my guest. And my decision, though, is I'm going to be staying in XRP, accumulating, and I'll also be accumulating other assets. But I just know that there's going to be a lot of people acting out of emotion, chasing gains, and throwing everything they've learned out the window. So just please do your own research, decide what's best for you, but do not call us lucky when this is all said and done. And do not think that, oh wow, the lawsuit worked out, and I can't believe XRP finally pumped. We're still in a largely speculative market. Anything can happen at the drop of a dime. Right here also, so a group of North Dakota state lawmakers have proposed allowing a government-run bank in the state to become a crypto custodian. The Bank of North Dakota, actually, interestingly enough, we can see right here. So last year, of course, of the OCC, Brian Brooks released guidance giving federally chartered banks the ability to serve as cryptocurrency custodians. I'm not leaving right before the fun starts. This is just, we can go back in time, and I know people get annoyed. Why are you looking at something last year or 5 years ago? For me, it may not always apply, but this type of stuff is pretty freaking obvious. So this opinion clarifies that banks can continue satisfying their customers' needs for safeguarding their most valuable assets. It's not just going to be crypto. Everything will be tokenized, guys. Eventually, we'll have fractional versions that are a lot more friendly and transparent and interoperable with other platforms of silver, per se. And that's just one example. It'll go beyond stocks. We'll be able to send the ownership of your Apple shares from Uphold to, another platform, maybe even Coinbase someday, or Ameritrade, right? In a quick and cheap manner. So which today, for tens of millions of Americans, includes crypto. Brian Brooks, the GOAT, greatest of all time. All right, talked about that. And then last but not least, we're almost done, guys. Please stick with me for this. So we have SEQ, guys. This gentleman or woman has a phenomenal blog, so please check it out. It is on medium.com. You can read more about it to learn crypto, blockchain, DLT at a very, very high level. It's easy to understand and, always sourced. Anyway, SIA, we know Europe's largest payments provider, plans to launch a secondary credit trading platform to allow banks, funds, and financial operators to negotiate secondary credit transactions via blockchain. We know Quant, and we've done a video on them maybe a week or two ago, partnered with SIA, SIA, based out of Italy, to provide blockchain interoperability, QNT. And you know who else has partnered with SIA years ago? And SIA's even been quoted in video that I've shown on this channel. They said, yes, we are working with the big major blockchain leaders in the space, such as Ripple and R3. And who's a big shareholder of them? SBI, out of Japan. So again, interoperability. And then I'm starting to think of all the other tests and initiatives that I'm thinking of between Singapore, between Japan, between a variety of central banks for that matter. So nonetheless, very exciting. I'll speed through this. Essentially, look, just, hundreds of billions of dollars potentially in terms of lending. We do know that Ripple's working on that as well. And they're listening to their customers and actually enabling. So they're not seeing the trend of DeFi and going, oh, wow, this might be a thing. They're listening to their customers and they're solving institutional problems at scale with systems and APIs and platforms that are already today. So they're bridging that value. So I'm going to be focused on what they're doing at an institutional level. I'm not going to be worrying about what average Joe's opinion is of XRP because it hasn't moved to $2 yet. All right, so just kind of sharing that again. We've talked about Colt, we've talked about eSMIG, this Euro System Single Market Infrastructure Gateway. Colt's been one of the chosen providers since 2018. I remember doing a video in the fall right when it came out. Nonetheless, something to absolutely watch. Now let's finish up with a bang right here. So we have Wrath Economin, one of the best pages for Ripple and XRP Insight. So right here, big thread. This is all sourced below if you guys want to check this out. And of course, XRP Arcade is a phenomenal website. I'm just going to speed through this and we'll call it a day. Ripple partner, PNC Bank. Remember, they're one of the first banks to join RippleNet as well, so I believe that they have further plans to utilize them if they did join them so many years ago. I don't think it was for fun. I don't think it was a test or to, just get distributed ledger adoption. I think there's a greater plan. And of course, we know of RippleNet, the Global Payment Steering Group. One of the founding members of that was also Bank of America, Standard Chartered. The, chairman at the time also was Don Donahue. And keep in mind, he was the president of the DTCC, and they settle well over $1 quadrillion with a Q dollars per year. So these are big wigs. These are not just your mom and pop financial institutions. These are as big as you can imagine. So right here, PNC Bank just purchased another Ripple partner, Tempest. Tempest uses RippleNet to provide foreign exchange solutions to Ripple partner Remitter in Canada. PNC will integrate Tempest Payments Gateway with platforms including a real-time payments network, ACH, wire transfer, and Zelle. And of course, we can talk about Zelle's connections too. Stellar. So that's pretty evident. And also in this video, remember last night's video, and sorry to keep referencing it, but RTP, they talk about it and they talk about the ACH network. We know that Ripple essentially connected with that entire backbone with the Nacha Alliance in 2014? And that is linked as well. And just saying that not all these ACH payment schemes that are batching payments are really positioned to update seamlessly to a real-time payments network. So I think you guys can catch what I'm throwing with other payment initiatives and interoperability that can help that friction in the system. Tempest is a payment gateway with lots of vehicles. RippleNet's the only one of them, blah, blah, blah. The other interesting note is that Tempest uses RippleNet, not on-demand liquidity, for United States and Canadian transactions, which are not particularly sticky nor difficult. Talking about Remitter as well, plus the RippleNet launch back then with this financial gateway to Africa. Nonetheless, very interesting. We'll be keeping up with this closely. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing today. In regards to Flare Networks, guys, Flare Community is a phenomenal YouTube channel to follow if you're curious about staking rewards and how the system overall works, and in terms of incentives. And then also Mickey B Fresh and Crypto Addy, I know we'll be covering more of that, so I'm excited to see that. And I'll try to watch whenever I have time. I'll probably be really late to watching all that, but I will absolutely be excited to tune in when I can. And also we did see that Flare had that announcement with DOGE, so again, we're going to see more and more assets being wrapped. I did see a bunch of silly commentary thinking Flare was doing this as a joke, or they're trolling, or this makes XRP a bad project now. And luckily, every comment I saw, I could tell that nobody really had a good fundamental understanding of this ecosystem and understood what unlocking, trapped value does. Notice this, there's a method to the madness, people. They went after Litecoin, and now there's an airdrop incentivizing those holders as well. They want to get everybody's incentives aligned. It's not just going to be the XRP community. They want everybody to come together. And I can guarantee that this crypto market will go much, much higher together than apart or against one another. The days of tribalism, are so silly. They really I think, delayed what could have happened a lot sooner in terms of Ethereum, Bitcoin valuation, XRP, everything. And when we actually work together, and instead of our in purely competitive mode, and we actually go towards a, what is that word, a co-opetition that I've heard from King Solomon in his interview with Hedera, last year or so. Very exciting. I love using that terminology. And maybe it's me being wishy-washy, maybe it's me being cliche, but I think that when we work together and stop acting like we're in high school and stop being tribalistic and actually let each asset solve its own problem, we're going to get a lot further. So let me know what your thoughts down are below. The links are in the video description, and I will catch you in the next one.